this is my Christmas tree, and these are my absolutely hideous Christmas pyjama bottoms. What does this shit look like with the light off? Look at that, it looked like somebody couldn't kind of arrange their fairy lights properly. So we shall put the light back on. Ah yes, it's that time of the year again. 'Tis the season to be jolly with a whiskey and coke. 'Tis also the season for the goddamn camera to focus itself. There we go. I'm not really sure how this is going to, God for God's sake, turn out because, yeah, I'm sat behind the camera and that may kind of fuck up the audio. So yes, Santa has been and emptied his sack all over the game room. Shut up! Stupidness. Yes, he has left a big CEX, a smelly keck sack. So yes, Christmas pickups 2017. I've still not hit that million views yet, so here we are. First up we shall go with, I have picked up a whole bunch of N-Gage games. This one actually doesn't have anything, it has a instruction manual, it doesn't have a cartridge, it's just the box and instruction manual, because I got it as part of a bundle. The bundle included Sonic N for the N-Gage. If you saw my previous video, or the one before that, you will know I picked up an N-Gage, so I had one back in the day, so I'm picking up some games for it. MotoGP, again, obviously N-Gage, these are all N-Gage games at the minute. Virtua Tennis, which is a great kind of underrated tennis game, kind of forgotten really, they play really well. And we have a sealed copy of Call of Duty, and I believe this is a really bad game, but it is sealed and I will probably keep it sealed. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, which is very similar to the PS1 game, both in terms of sort of graphics and gameplay and all of that. I can't remember about the music though. And is that all for that isn't it for N-Gage. We got The Sims Busting Out, like yeah really who cares, but that's just a instruction manual and cartridge there. Was this a no, that's just a normal sort of N-Gage game, but we do have Rayman 3, which if you can see there it says not for resale, so this would have been, I would have thought, a display game, you know, to put in the display N-Gage models in the phone shop and all that shit. And last but not least, well probably least actually for the N-Gage, FIFA Football 2004. I don't really remember much about the FIFA games on the N-Gage. So I also picked up a new handheld system, and when I say picked up, I mean obviously I'm sort of given the money for this stuff for Christmas to buy whatever I want, so I don't actually have somebody buy me this stuff that knows what I want. I'm obviously buying it myself. So I picked up a Super Mario Bros. 2 edition Nintendo 2DS because I just thought it's Christmas and I want a new console. So I picked this up. I think it was like 65 quid, and I had 100 quid to spend. So yeah, I thought it was not a bad deal. And to be honest, I don't really take handhelds out of the house anyway, so I'm not bothered about it not being the clamshell design so much. And I'm also not too keen on 3D either. I think the reason I'm having a lot of trouble with the camera focusing is just because it's, you know, basically looking at a dark flat surface, kind of annoying. So obviously, as you can imagine, I picked up some games as well for the system. Ridge Racer 3D, which is a great game. I was playing it earlier. It's nothing like that Ridge Racer Unbounded. That was a terrible game. This is more like old school Ridge Racer. You got some of the classic tracks in there. I saw a few from you know, like Ridge Racer 7, the original Ridge Racer track, and Rage Racer. So massive variety of tracks. If you're a fan of the Ridge Racer series, I think you'll like this one. Dead or Alive Dimensions, which is actually quite there's a lot more depth to these Dead or Alive fighters than I actually realised. I only realised earlier when I played this game, and it's got a kind of, I think it's Chronicles mode with tutorials, and you go into all the mechanics and shit, and there are some things that you know, there's quite a bit of depth once you scratch away the surface of this game, so that's pretty cool. I've not played any of these other ones. Ghost Recon Shadow Wars, which is some sort of turn-based strategy game, so looks like a pretty decent game, to be honest, so I shall play that at some point. Resident Evil Mercenaries 3D. It's Resident Evil in it, so you just pick them up. And Steel Diver, which is kind of a hidden gem, I think, on the system. It's got this weird kind of hologram type, forget what you call them, covers. You can see it moving there. One of these games does also have, there we go, it's this one. We have Tony Hawk's Downhill Jam manual and game, just because I had like a couple of quid left or something after I bought the system and the games. So yes, there we go. What did we get? We got a 2DS and some games. We got 1, 2, 3, 4. We got 5 actual 3DS games for the 2DS, and 1 normal DS game. And also we got some N-Gage games. We got a box. Yay! I will probably get the cartridge for that at some point. Make that complete. A couple of sort of loose games there. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games for the N-Gage. So not as big of a stack of games as I might usually get at Christmas, although obviously if you've seen in the past week or so, I have picked up quite a few games because I treated myself, but obviously this year I did get a system, so I probably didn't get a system last year, which I can't actually remember what I got last year. But yes, there we go, ho ho ho, I did all of that. I managed 10 minutes without a drink. Merry fucking Christmas.